All right, we've all been on this AI hype train for a while now, right? It's been going full speed ahead for years. But what happens when that train smashes right into a panel of some of the toughest investors out there? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're looking at the massive AI reality check happening on Shark Tank India's latest season. Because believe me, the rules for founders have totally changed.
Yeah, this quote it hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? For the last couple of years, if you were pitching an AI company, it really felt like you were a magician on stage, just pulling a rabbit out of a hat. But as we're about to see, it looks like that magic show might finally be coming to an end.
And Shark Tank India is really the proof in the pudding here. For so long, the whole conversation was just about these amazing, jaw-dropping demos. But if you tune into Season 3, wow, the questions are completely different. It's not about, hey, that's cool tech anymore. Nope, it's all about margins, customer acquisition costs, and the big, scary question, can this business actually make money and survive?
Okay, so to really get a grip on just how massive this shift is, let's rewind a bit. We got to look at the old playbook, back when just selling the magic of AI was actually enough to get you in the door.
Do you remember the Rephrase.ai pitch? This was way back in Season 1. A company walks into the tank with this tech to create digital avatars. And honestly, at the time, a lot of people just wrote it off. They saw it and thought, okay, that's a neat gimmick, I guess, but where's the real business? The thing is, almost everybody was looking at it the wrong way. They were missing the huge picture.
And here's the absolute genius of what they were doing. See, they weren't just selling a video tool or a cool demo. No, they were selling the elimination of human repetition. They were building the fundamental infrastructure to automate all that boring, repetitive work that nobody wants to do. And that vision, that is why a monster company like Adobe came in and acquired them. It was a massive wake-up call for pretty much the entire industry.
So, why the big change all of a sudden? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is that the judges, the sharks themselves, have changed. The whole vibe in the tank is different now, and you better believe that's raised the bar for every single founder who walks through those doors.
Yeah, Season 3 brought in what I'm calling the execution sharks. First, you've got Ritesh Agarwal. This is a guy who built an empire by getting his hands dirty with the boring but absolutely crucial details of business. We're talking supply chains, margins, nitty-gritty operations. He honestly doesn't care how clever your AI is. He just wants to know one thing. Does it make the business cheaper to run? And then there's Deepinder Goyal, a master of logistics and real-world, on-the-ground execution. He's not looking for flashy tech. He's looking for AI that solves the tangible, messy, dirty problems that happen in the real world.
Okay, so let's get into it. What does this new laser focus on execution actually look like in practice? If we made a scorecard, comparing the old way of doing things, the hype, to this new reality, how would they even compare? It really just comes down to two totally different ways of thinking. On one side, you've got the old playbook, which was all about hype. And on the other, you have the new way, this Season 3 way, which is 100% focused on execution.
Let's really break this down. In the old hype world, what was the focus? Cool, Gen AI demos. It was all about the wow factor. But now, it's about agentic utility. That's a fancy way of asking, does your AI actually do the work for the customer, or does it just help them do it? Big difference. What about your competitive moat? It used to be, oh, our model is better. Now, it's all about having proprietary data loops. And success? It's not about a viral Twitter thread anymore. It's about having unit economics that don't bleed money. And finally, the exit. The dream used to be a big IPO. Now, the smart money is on a strategic acquisition, just like we saw with Rephrase.ai.
Okay, let's look at a case study of this new playbook in action. And it's a perfect one from a recent episode, the pitch from a company called Emomi. They walked in there and basically gave a masterclass on how this game is played now.
So what did they do? They didn't come in with some fluffy story about AI for kids. Nope. They led with the numbers, hard numbers. They showed how their AI content factory takes a process that usually costs a company 30,000 rupees and just crushes it down to 1,000. I mean, that's not just a reduction, that's an insane, game-changing cost obliteration. And that is what got the sharks' eyes to light up. You could see it. They weren't just buying a cute creative tool. They were buying a high-margin engine. They saw a business that could completely flip the economics of an entire industry on its head. Now that is what real execution looks like.
So, okay, let's bring this home. If you're a founder, if you're building something in the AI space right now,
What does all of this mean for you? The message, the mandate, it's crystal clear. You have to build differently.
First things first, you gotta stop focusing on the technology and start obsessing over the friction. Forget about the magic tricks. Instead, find the one, single, most annoying, time-sucking, manual bottleneck that your customers absolutely hate dealing with day in and day out.
All right, second question you need to ask. Can you build an agentic workflow that doesn't just help with that problem, but completely deletes it? That's what we mean by agentic. It's an AI that takes full ownership of the task, from beginning to end. Think about it this way. It's not a co-pilot sitting next to you. It is the pilot.
And number 3, the big one. Can you do it with a margin that makes a shark's eyes light up? Because this is the ultimate test, right? It's not enough to just solve the problem. You have to solve it profitably. You need a margin that's so good it's just undeniable, proving your business isn't just a cool idea, it's sustainable, and it's ready to scale.
Look, at the end of the day, it really just comes down to this. The hype train has left the station. That whole era of getting by on flashy demos and big promises, it's over. The founders who are winning right now, the ones getting the checks and getting acquired, they're on a different train. They're on the execution train. And that's the one that's actually making people rich because they're building real businesses, solving real problems with real margins.
So that's the real question for every single person building something out there. In this new era of AI, what are you building? Are you building a demo? Or are you building an engine? Is it a cool piece of magic that gets a nice round of applause and a few likes? Or is it a powerful, high-margin machine that actually goes out and changes an entire industry? Because when it all comes down to it, the sharks and the market, they're only going to invest in one of those.